welcome back, and thank you so much for stopping by once again. So my people, in this particular video, this is a heated debate between ex-Rivers lawmaker and ex-commissioner concerning the political crisis that is going on in the Rivers state. I want you guys to relax and watch this video to the end so that you leave your thought in the comment section who is telling the truth here and who is lying. Because sometimes I do wonder, some people will come on national television, they will start defending Wike. Like, for what, my people? Wike is no longer governor of Rivers State, my people. What is Wike fighting with pro-fubara? Like, a lot of people were the governor of Rivers State, and after their tenures were over, they left and allowed the new governor to focus and do his duty as a governor. And Wike is even lucky, he is the minister of FCT, but Wike still wants to be governor of Rivers State. This is also uncalled for, honestly. And when you listen to this Wike supporters, they only want crisis, like they don't want any progress. This is the reason why this Wike supporter here is saying that no investor will come to Rivers State to invest, because they know very well that Rivers State is not stable. Like, all they want is to make sure that they bring pro-fubara down, that this man will not achieve anything within his 4 years. Honestly, these people, they are really out in order to destroy pro-fubara, and they are not going to stop. You guys know very well that Wike does not like to lose in any battle, but it's quite unfortunate that Wike has ruled for 80 years and no one disturbed him, even though that it was someone that even helped Wike to become the governor of Rivers State. So Wike is not the first person to help someone to become the governor. So it is high time for Wike to leave this man alone, pro-fubara, so that he will take care of his people and also do what he wants to do as a governor in order to help his people. Because where there is crisis, there will be no progress, even though that pro-fubara is trying all his possible best to ignore these people, to be focused. But my people, it's really not easy. And it is even the Rivers State people that are suffering it the most. My people, let me allow you guys to listen and hear everything they said in this particular video. But before then, please, if today is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't, give me a thumbs up so that you too will recommend this video to other people to watch. Don't forget to share the video to your friends and family as well. Thanks so much for doing so, my people.
I wonder, when will this end? Because it looks like the Rivers political crisis is playing out in different arenas. There's one playing out at the local government. There's one playing out in courts. There's one playing out state assembly. There's one playing out maybe on the streets, right? When will this end? We're joined on the program this morning by Dr. Gift Wolu, who is a former commissioner for housing and senior lecturer, University of Port Harcourt, as well as Honorable Tamino Sisi Gogo-Jaja, who's a former member, Rivers State House of Assembly, former commissioner of education. I just want to start with the opener. It's good to have you, gentlemen. This has been a long-drawn battle, I must say, since last year. Is it exhausting for you, politicians, people of Rivers State? Has this been exhausting, or this is part of the adrenaline that keeps the political wheel oiled? And I want to start with both of you, but Honorable Gogo-Jaja, you can go first. Just a quick opener. Is this exhausting, or is part of the the whole adrenaline that keeps the political wheel oiled? Can you hear me, Honorable Gogo-Jaja? Okay, you can, but I can't hear you. So let's go to Dr. Wolu and get his thoughts. Same question to you.
Okay, thank you. I must say that it should be, and it is. It is because politics, the way I understand it, should be about the welfare of the people. Should be about making sure that our children go to good schools, that our women go to hospitals where they can get good medical care, that our people sleep with their eyes closed, and so on and so forth. And that is why it is said that the welfare of the people is the supreme law. My brother, in the next 10 days or so, it will be 1 year and 5 months since His Excellency Siminalayi Fubara became governor of Rivers State. Before then, what people knew about Rivers State was the flag off of projects, the commissioning of projects. And it was on the basis of that he became governor. Because the former governor, after leading the state for 8 years, presented a scorecard that I believe resonated with the aspirations of Rivers people and campaigned vigorously for who should succeed him on the mantra of consolidation and continuity. And Rivers people voted overwhelmingly in that election for the PDP. And of course, we won all the seats. In the Assembly, we won all the seats except for one in the House of Reps. We won all the Senate seats. And of course, we produced the governor. And since then, all that has been heard about Rivers State is crisis. Like you said, it's either in the House of Assembly or in the local government or in the just concluded charade called local government election and so on. And that is to say that the man whose responsibility it is to ensure that the welfare of the people is put on the front burner does not realize that responsibility, perhaps he doesn't have what it takes to be able to deliver on that. And so every day, as you tune to your TV or radio, all that you hear is crisis, crisis, crisis. And of course, crisis cannot in any way represent the essence of politics and governance. It is not what Rivers people voted for. It is not what they deserve. But unfortunately, that's what they have. And for me, it is very exhausting. It is frustrating. It is annoying.
Well, Dr. Waller.
At the end of the day, yes.
Pardon me. So you've said it's exhausting for you. Let's find out from Honorable Gugujaja his thoughts. Then we'll get into to substantive issues. But I just want to get this open. Honorable Gugujaja, please go ahead now.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I want to place on record that the major reason Governor Fubara was supported by Rivers people and nominated by the party is because of his accomplishments. He's seen as a man who can deliver. And I want to say that irrespective of the distractions that Governor Fubara is delivering, the purpose for which he was elected, marvel at the level of progress and development he has achieved in Rivers State. I wouldn't want to bore you with some of those achievements now, but like you said, maybe by the time we get into the main issue for the day, you will appreciate that there are people who are set out to see if they can distract him, but he has refused to be distracted. He is focused, and he's achieving the promises he made to Rivers people.
No, my question was particularly about whether or not you're exhausted or this is exhausting for the government and you want this to end as quick as possible, at least for the government of Rivers.
There is no government who wouldn't want to have a peaceful atmosphere to govern. It's exhausting because those who are set to distract him have planned out their programs from one problem to the other, but he has the capacity to endure all.
So let me come to you now, Mr. Walu. We can't ask this question enough about the origin of the crisis, or the political crisis now in Rivers State. And it's an important question because it's been asked time and again, what exactly is between the two leading politicians in Rivers State, the governor, Sim Fubara, and the FCT minister. So do you have an understanding, if you do, perhaps you could enlighten us, does this have anything to do with who controls what in governance? Does it have anything to do with the Rivers State Treasury?
Okay, so listening to my brother, Tamino Sisi, he said that the governor was elected because of his track record of performance. That cannot be true, because before now, nobody knew about the governor. He was the accountant general of the state, and I don't see how we were able to measure his performance. Perhaps if he's contesting again and he has something to show, we will see. But until then, nobody should make reference to his performance because he doesn't have any such record. That said, I'll tell you simply that as a Rivers person, I've reflected on this matter over and over and over again. And when I listen to commentaries, I hear this question being asked often and on, and I have tried to see whether I can find an answer to it. And my analysis leads me to what I would call the happening of culture in Rivers State. Don't forget that before now, in 1992, we had Rufus Ada George as the governor of Rivers State, and we had Governor Peter Odili as his deputy at that time. Fast forward to 1999, Peter Odili becomes governor of Rivers State, but we not sit in the same room with Rufus Ada George. And then, while he was governor, his best man was Rotimi Chibika Amechi, who was the then Speaker of Rivers State Assembly. And Odili actually wanted to hand over to Amechi until the K-Leg saga happened. Now, Amechi becomes governor, but we don't see eyeball to eyeball with Odili. And then, as governor, his best man was Nyesom Wike. And Nyesom wanted to become governor, and then there were, as God will have it, Nyesom becomes governor, and we don't see eyeball to eyeball with Rotimi Amechi. And then we thought that this time around, because of the way Nyesom Wike was able to midwife the coming of Fubara, that there will be that shift in the way things happen in the state, wherein the predecessor and the successor can sit in one room and perhaps bring other former leaders and all the leaders and stakeholders in the state under one roof to begin to chart a veritable course for moving Rivers State forward. But unfortunately, that did not happen because, like I said, culture happened. Because culture is the way of life of a people. And from what I have told you now, you can see that there is a pattern, there is a way of life of Rivers people. And this is because some people, I was listening to a former senator from Rivers State talking about this issue the other day, and he said that there was no way that Fubara was not going to run foul of Wike, because after all, it happened in the time of Odili, it happened in the time of Mechi, it happened in the time of Wike, and so it should continue to happen. And this is the kind of story that you get being shared and transferred by very wicked people who don't want Rivers State to move forward. And other younger people, including my brother, Terminus Sisi, Gogo Jaja, have bought into that. For them, as far as they are concerned, what makes sense is that there is Fubara quarreling with Wike, and they couldn't be bothered about how that affects the livelihood and the lives of Rivers people. About of Rivers State within the committee, of the fact that this crisis and cast Rivers State in very bad light.
Well, Mr. Wallu, your historical, memory lane journey certainly helps, but it still doesn't answer the question about what exactly has turned sour between, former governor and current governor. Pardon me, I'd like to take it now to. Okay, just do 30 seconds on that, so that I can take it to Mr. Gogo Jaja.
The point is that Fubara became governor with the help of Nyesom Wike, who in the first place rallied the rest of the party members to nominate him and campaign for him vigorously. Now he becomes governor, and people went and lied to him, told him that, look, here in Rivers State, the only way things can work is when you quarrel with your predecessor. And I told you who said that, and several other people have said the same thing, that you must find a way to quarrel with your Oga, as he calls him. And then he did.
But indeed, if it were that simplistic, certainly there has been a political solution brokered to this crisis, for which some have said it was an unfair balance that didn't favor the governor, but still he has ceded to it. And the governor has said that he has, done everything he can, to ensure that this comes to an end, including going on all fours to beg. So one still wonders why this has not been resolved. But let me take it to Mr. Gogo Jaja. Let me take this to Mr. Gogo Jaja. Mr. Gogo Jaja, there are reports about the impact of this continuing political crisis on Rivers State, and I wonder if this is true. You can confirm or deny it. There are reports that many businesses are standing still, waiting for things to be more definite as far as governance is concerned. That in fact there is a vehicle assembly plant that is supposed to take off in Opobo, but because of the political uncertainty, that has not happened. Is that true? And if it is true, how worried is the River State government, and what is it doing to exit this protracted crisis period?
Okay, let me correct Mr. Wallo once more. I stated clearly, very clearly, that the reason for which Governor Fubara was nominated and elected as governor of River State was as a result of his track record. I can state without equivocation that he was one of those behind the success of the last administration. He was the accountant general of the state. And you mustn't have a track record not until you either hold one political office or the other. Don't also forget that accountant general is a career civil service job. He was appointed as the accountant general because he was prudent in the management of the resources of the state wherever he found himself. Having stated that, let me state clearly, when you ask the genesis of what the problem is, Governor Fubara has told Nigerians that he has no issue with his predecessor. He has mentioned to you over and over, but Governor Wike has said to Nigerians that, look, he wouldn't allow any person to take over his structure. I want to state here clearly that Governor Fubara is not interested in the structure. He hasn't been interested. He hasn't told anybody that he wants to control any structure. His interest is in the development of River State. I wouldn't want to go personal when Mr. Wallo said people like Amnosi Sigogo Jaja. I want to address issues. Governor Wike had said to Nigerians what his issues are, that he wants to control the structure. He wants to control everything in River State. And you know that wouldn't be possible. And therefore, I want to say that, again, whether you like it or not, wherever you have crisis, there are certain areas it will affect. However, Governor Fubara is facing the task of governance. He's facing the task of development. And if you go to River State today, a lot of projects are being executed and they are carrying on. Maybe, like I said, if the issues are coming up, I want to address them, tackle them headlong. I wouldn't want to parry any question. Yes, there must be areas the crisis will be affected. However, Governor Fubara is executing projects he has promised Rivers people.
So let's talk about the areas that this crisis, of course, some of the areas this crisis is affecting. One of them is the budgetary process. We've seen now the Amewule-led House of Assembly and the Okojobo group, the back and forth. One saying your seats are vacant, the other one saying no, your seats are vacant. And then the Amewule-led House saying, well, the governor can present the budget. By the way, they are still stuck on the previous budget that has not been presented. And I imagine what that is doing to governance. And the Okojobo group says we are ready for 2025 budget. Clearly, and I speak with business people, investors, and these are the kinds of things they look at and they say, no, don't go to River State, because clearly the atmosphere is very uncertain. They can have a deal with the government today and tomorrow another group says another thing. So there's no point even coming in the first place. So clearly this is affecting, governance and even the business activities a lot.
Well, if your 2025 budget for the River State House of Assembly, there is no group that can claim that there is no budget in River State. The budget has been signed into law. And I will want to implore you, whoever you have been asking not to, advising not to come to do business in River State, please do well and tell the person to come and invest in our state. The 2024 budget is in operation.
Honorable Gogojaja, just a moment. I will not let that slide. You misquoted me, obviously. You said I'm advising people not to come to River State. You know I never said that.
Whoever you have an opportunity to advise,
all right,
please advise encourage the person to come to River State.
Because facts are sacred. I don't want anybody to misquote me on this one.
No, I won't misquote you.
All right.
Sure.
So let me ask Dr. Wolu as well. Do you agree with him, particularly regarding the budget? We'll also come to the seats that have been declared vacant. At this rate, if we're going by what both groups have said, all seats are vacant. But let's talk about the budgetary process and how this is affecting, business governance itself. Do you agree with Honorable Gogojaja that this is not affecting in any way?
The truth is that when people want to help you, they tell you the truth. But when they want to help themselves, they tell you what you want to hear. I think what my brother there has said is what he thinks the governor wants to hear, and he's saying it to help himself, not to help the governor. As of today, the authentic House of Assembly in River State is the one led by Martin Lamegule. Only last week, the appeal court said so. Before then, the Omoto Judge Somochoso said so. And of course, River State is made up of 32 seats. The assembly is made up of 32 seats. And what he's referring to as River State House Assembly is 3 persons. That is not what Rivers people want. That's not what Rivers people voted for. Now, even if we have crisis, you will expect that people will follow the law and obey the law. And when there is clarity as to what the law says, people are bound to obey them. It doesn't matter how you feel. You may not be comfortable with the position of the law. Because when government becomes a lawbreaker, it invites anarchy. And we have seen a lot of it, or something close to it in River State. We have seen people die. We have seen properties destroyed. That's the kind of thing that's going on in River State. It's telling you to tell those who want to come to River State to come and invest. It's not your business to do that. These business people, they have their information and they get information. They know how to do the analysis. They know where to put their money. So they will not rely on what one person or the other tells them. And when you talk about who is authentic and who is not authentic, ordinarily, let us even assume, without conceding, that some people have lost their seats. The normal thing to do is for you to put in place a process so that there is representation. Because we're talking about democracy. What we have in River State today is dictatorship, wherein the governor is both the assembly, is the executive, and to an extent the judiciary. And in that kind of situation, what you will have is chaos. There's no development going on in River State. Let nobody be deceived. There's nothing happening in River State. You say a lot of projects are going on. You need to mention them. You need to let people know what are these projects, what are the impact of those projects, and who approved those projects. If you don't have a budget and you are going ahead spending public funds, all because you think that it suits you at a particular point in time, I believe that one day this matter will come to a head in the court of law. And everybody will know who is right or wrong. I'm not a lawyer, and I don't want to bother so much about the legalese. But the truth of the matter is that last week there was a court judgment saying that Martin and co. are the authentic leadership of the River State Assembly, and have asked the governor to represent the budget. But people take public policy, public affair, and treat it like private affair. River State does not belong to Governor Fubara. It belongs to Rivers people. He's our governor, yes, but he has to follow the law. He has to work with other people. If he wants to work alone, he's comfortable with the 3 persons that like his errand boys. He tells them what to do and they do it overnight.
Well, Mr.
Budget that they are making reference to, that budget was passed overnight. I was in cabinet then. I didn't even get to hear that we were going to present budget. Ordinarily, every commissioner was supposed to go and defend their budget before the State House Assembly. But that didn't happen. Do you call that a budget? Do you call that a government that is democratic? Do you say that government cares about Rivers people and their future? The answer is no.
Well, Mr. Wolu, The River State government has since appealed that judgment, and we imagine that following that appeal, that perhaps things will stay as they are, but lawyers can interpret that. Let me bring this now to Mr. Gogojaja. What needs to give such that there can be a solution to this political crisis?
Let me correct some impressions so that Mr. Wallo does not misinform Nigerians. First is you will not divorce this matter from the incidents of 30th October 2023. Some people were directed to go and serve the governor an impeachment notice. And when they got there that morning, the first thing they did was to say they have suspended 4 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Don't forget that these people are members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. And on the same date, 30th of October 2023, another speaker emerged in the person of Right Honorable Edison Ehie. And within that period, when another speaker emerged, that was when Martins Amehule and his group approached the State High Court or Federal High Court to determine the authentic speaker. Don't forget, there are 2 speakers now. And between the period they went to court and the 11th of December, they defected to another political party. They had initiated the matter you are talking about before their defection. Don't also forget that there were 2 claimants to the office of the speakership of River State House of Assembly. Having defected, nobody anticipated that the speaker would be part of those who would defect. Now, Edison went to the State High Court, the Court of Justice Dana Gogo, to declare him the authentic speaker of River State. And he got an ex parte order to function in that office without interference from the other group. And it was on that basis that on the 12th or 13th of December, he declared their offices vacant. He rightly wrote to INEC. And as soon as he wrote to INEC to declare to fill the offices, Amehule has never told you, and I'm sure that they will not inform Nigerians, that they ran to the Federal High Court, the Court of Justice, Donatus Okorowo. They swore to an affidavit agreeing, affirming that they have defected to the APC, and that the court should restrain INEC from either withdrawing their certificate of return and filling their offices. That order they got, and that is the order they are used. They haven't told any person that they swore to an affidavit, that having declared, Supreme Court had earlier said that as soon as you defect, you automatically lose your office. Now, having declared their seats vacant, they ran to Justice Okorowo's court to get an ex parte order restraining INEC from filling their seats, from conducting elections to fill their seats. These are things they won't tell you. And therefore, when you say that appeal court has said that Martins Amehule is the authentic speaker, this is a matter he filed before his defection. They will also tell the world this. And therefore, you can't place something on nothing and he expect it to start.
But Mr. Gogojaja, pardon me if I may come in there. Can 3 members form a quorum to preside over State Assembly affairs?
Sure.
3 members, just 3 members.
Sure. What does Chapter 5, Part 2, Section 96 of the Constitution, if you permit me to read, it says the quorum of a House of Assembly shall be 1/3 of all members of the House. That's it. But a lot of people stop at subsection 1. If you go to subsection 2 of that section, it says, if objection is taken by any member, if objection is taken by any member of the House present, that there are present in the House not fewer than 1/3. So it depends. If you check the Constitution, the only person who can determine if the House has formed a quorum is a member sitting in that chamber, not any other person, as provided by section chapter 5, part 2, section 96, subsection 2 of the House. So when you talk about quorum, you do not have, no other person has the right to draw the attention of the speaker to the quorum of the House except the member that is sitting. But when Nigerians read the Constitution, they only restrict themselves to the provisions of section 1 of 96, section 2, subsection 2. I can tell you that, sure, the House can sit with 3 members and perform the business of the House.
All right.
That's the Constitution.
All right, very quickly, Mr. Gogojaja, speak to solutions. What should give for peace to reign in Rivers State?
For me, I think that they instituted a matter in Justice Okorowo's court. And since they got that restraining order stopping INEC from conducting election in their constituencies, they haven't returned back to that court. And that's an ex parte order. I feel that those who have defected according to the judgment of Supreme Court have automatically lost their seat. You don't even need an interpretation of court.
But Mr. Gogojaja, parties are choosing which judgments to obey, and when they refuse to obey a certain judgment, they go to a higher court. For instance, the Rivers State government.
Now listen. Even in the 8-point agenda they were talking about, when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu offered to bring solution to the crisis, when it came to the issue of the members of the Rivers State House of Assembly that have crossed to the APC, what did the president say? The president said they have already crossed the other side of the river and that he will not allow them to return. What does that mean? That they have already crossed to APC. That's what the president told them. Why are they disobeying the president? Why are they saying they are no longer members of the APC? They told Mr. President that they have crossed over to his party, and President said that, look, people have already crossed over to the other side of the river, and I won't allow you, I can't receive new children and allow them to go back. For them to return to say to Nigerians that they are no longer members of the APC is also a disobedience to Mr. President. They will know where they are, go back to their constituencies to recontest and see if they will be voted to return to the House. As we speak, they are no longer members of the House, and that is the simple truth.
Well, Mr. Gogojaja, I think it was the FCT minister that asked the governor to obey court orders, right? So if you say that even though this case was put in court before an incident happened, the onus is then on the party who is aggrieved to go to court to vacate that particular judgment. But I think we all agree that court orders or judgments should be obeyed when they are given and not choose. And I think it goes to the other party, to Dr. Wolu. Mr. Gogojaja, just a second, pardon me. Let's allow Dr. Wolu speak to this one as we wind down, because it's also been said that your group is choosing which court order or judgment to obey.
That's not true. That's not true.
Now, the person, if you ask me, the person who disobeyed the president and said so very clearly to the world is the governor. Because after the resolution was made, the governor came back to the state and announced to Rivers people and the world at large that the agreement was not a death sentence, that it was something he was ready to implement, and that there was no price too high to pay for the peace of Rivers State. And I like that sentence, that there is no price too much to pay for the peace of Rivers State, because without peace, there cannot be development. Now, a few weeks after, when those who want to help themselves, like I said, when they want to help you, they tell you the truth. When they want to help themselves, they tell you what you want to hear. When they went back to him and told him what he wants to hear, he turned and said that what happened with the president was a mere political, I don't know what name he called it, and that he has no constitutional backing, and then that he was not going to go ahead with it. And that is why this problem has lingered. For me, it is not correct for anybody, any individual, no matter how highly placed, or any institution, to disobey orders of court. Because without the judiciary, this place will be an animal kingdom. Without law and order, man becomes an animal. living by his instincts. Unfortunately, we have a situation where those who are supposed to keep the law are the ones breaking it. And some people, because it feels good, because they think that there's something they have to benefit, are supporting that. That should not be allowed. Well, let me tell you, River State is too important to be toyed with by many people who are uninformed about politics and democracy, but who have become very prominent in the politics of River State.
Well, gentlemen, we have to anchor at this point because of time. We have to anchor. We're totally out of time, gentlemen.
Welcome to Chamrasi News TV.